Who is this guy? Who is this guy giving away all these player development resources? And if he knows player development so well, why isn't he currently in the role? Now, granted, those are questions you may have, and you're entitled to those questions. And honestly, if I were in your shoes listening to player development, wanting to find out about player development, I would ask that question myself. Who is this guy who goes out of his way to make a podcast, write blogs, do all this, put on a conference for player development, and he's not even in the role? Who is he? How is he qualified? And why is he not in the role? Hello. My name is Ed Jones II, and I am the host of the Player Development Pod. The conference, the Player Development Conference, ended about 2 months ago, and y'all, it was incredible. We took a deliberate break in between to prepare for all the new things that we will have for you that we will talk about at the end of the episode. But let's get back to it. Let me answer your question. Who am I and why am I not in the role? More importantly, why am I not in the player development role? What is the main reason why I'm not in the role? Me. I am the main reason why I'm not in the role. I enjoyed my time in the role. I worked at 3 universities, University of Houston, Kansas University, and Baylor University for 4 head coaches. I love player development. You probably know that by now. I love the impact that it has on student athletes. Love it. The impact you get to see on lives and those people, their communities, their friends, their family, that impact. But currently, I am the reason why I'm not in the role. I cannot blame it on anyone else. I can't put it on anyone else. I won't put it on anyone else. I am the reason why I'm not in the role. I have been blessed to get calls once or twice a month from people want to know my interests. People want me to come in and have an interview. And I thank them. I thank you all who have made those calls so much because number one, you still believe in me and I appreciate that. And you believe in the impact that I can make. But I've politely declined those opportunities. Now, inside of me being the reason that I am not in a player development role, there are 3 factors. Number 1, my family. I am enjoying family time. When I was in the role, I was a high school coach before I got in player development. And then when I got into, college player development at the University of Houston, I was engaged and I got married and our family grew. And you just got used to, because I started in marriage, you got used to the time, you got used to the official visits, you got used to the camps, you got used to the time after practice, you got used to being in the office long, and that's part of it. But now that I've been out of it, I think the first, month or 2 in my transition out of the role, I was like, man, this is a lot of family time I've missed. And a lot of things that were done in the office could have been done more efficiently. And so I have 3 kids under the age of 5. These are high development years for them. And I'm enjoying the moments. I'm enjoying seeing, I've been able to see, my daughters walk, my son walk now and get to see them read and learn things, sight words, and watch them play and, just see them grow, their vocabulary grow, see them play together, see them enjoy time with me, see them help me in the yard. It's just a lot that I'm enjoying in this stage of life that I'm just not ready to, give away or sacrifice. Now, with any job, any career, are there sacrifices? Yes, I have a job I enjoy right now. There are sacrifices because I travel a lot, but I do get a significant amount of time with my family and that I enjoy. It's just, different, and I really do it. And, I heard people, people I know, wise people I know, they say, hey, life has stages, at this stage of life, you may like this stage of life, you may want this. Well, right now I'm enjoying being a family man. I'm enjoying the time, not only with my kids, but with my wife and our relationship building. And, the times we get to laugh and talk and just go on rides and pick up the kids together and talk about life and talk about growth and what we want to do. And, I know I wouldn't have those opportunities if I was in a college football setting. So currently right now, that's the biggest factor in why I am not in the role. Now, number 2 is this right here. Educating people in player development. I'm able to write blogs, have a podcast, do other things to help you, the listener, learn more about player development or bring exposure to our guests, to those professionals that are doing great things in the role. I'm able to do that. I had an interview when I was transitioning from a university and I talked to a school. I'm not going to mention the school. And I talked to the chief of staff and I said, hey, what does professional development look like? And he was like, well, we don't really want you to go out and talk about what we're doing, and we kind of want to keep everything in house. And that's never been me, right? Because I believe every director of player development is responsible for their 120. They're going to come to our campuses, or they were going to come to our campuses no matter what, right? And so I was like, well, I think it's okay to share stuff. Yeah, you don't share everything, but you could share a lot. And I just didn't like that I couldn't get professional development. And I just don't know how a coach or a program or administration would feel about me doing a podcast, writing blogs, all this stuff. And I totally understand, why administration, a coach, or other people wouldn't want that to happen. I get it. But for me, I have to have that ability to help others to, if a player development, if I'm at the Power 5 level in a group of 5 or a Division 2 or FCS or Division 3 high school, whoever student wants to come and shadow, I would love to have the opportunity to say, yeah, come shadow me for a week. Let's not worry about it, whatever, or if someone in the conference, they're in the night before, we got to play them, and, they just come to the building, we chop it up about player development. I would love to do that, but I understand that may not be able, or that may not be welcome. Let me use that word as freely as I would like. So that's the second factor. And number 3, creative control. I get to do whatever I want to do, like literally creatively, in this player development phase that I'm in right now. I get to create, the blogs, the podcasts. I even do the graphics, I'm learning, but even get to do the graphics, but I get creative control. And one thing in the role that was a little tough for me is when you're trying to get to the head coach. What I tell people all the time, if you got a straight, direct path to the head coach, don't ever give it up, because you're trying to create things for the players. And, people, I don't think people do it maliciously, but you relate a message to someone and it's on their desk, and then they get their task and then it's in their email and they forget about it. And so there were times where I was like, hey, we got to make this happen. We got to, get this done. We got to get this done. I think this would be great. Everything wasn't last minute, but there are some times where you got to do things quick like that. And it would get caught in the systems to get to the head coach. Even, like I said, everything wasn't last minute. Even if you put it out a month or 2 months ahead, hey, just want to get this on coach's, desk so we can start figuring this out. It just kind of got caught. And so that was tough. And even some of the creativity, right? Because of traditions and different things, and people just kind of staying in their boxes, which is fine, but people stay in their boxes. It was tough at times to like, hey, we like this, if we could just do this, or if we can have phones in the team room for this session, this could help our players, because we would use the phones, and just being creative. Or what if we put this here or whatever? It just kind of, we get shot down, and that's just tough, right? I'm a creative person. And one day I'll be able to, beyond the field will be big. I'll be able to hire, and the first hire will be someone who's organized, because I'm super creative. Like I got, all these thoughts and things like that. And so it's tough, when you get that shot down a lot. And so, creativity and the freedom to create in this space is another factor, why I'm not in a role. So once again, to kind of wrap that up, so you all that are listening who are saying like, who is this guy? And, why is he giving player development information? If he knows that much, why is he not in a role? I'm not in a role because of me. And those factors are my family. Those factors are my family, helping you, and then creative freedom. Now, I don't want to be that guy, but here are some, accomplishments I've made in my career to be able to come on this platform and other platforms and provide experience or authority in this role. I worked in a role at 3 universities for 4 head coaches. I was successful. I worked in group of 5, Power 5 public, Power 5 private. I have a plethora of testimonials of impacting the lives of student athletes. I wrote the first book dedicated to player development. I wrote the second book dedicated to player development. I have this podcast that you're listening to that's dedicated to player development. I created, hosted, and held a virtual player development conference. It's pretty neat. I have over 70 blogs about player development. I've interviewed different places. I've written or have literature for other things. I have some stuff there on my resume that allows me to be in this space. And so if you're kind of uncomfortable with me not being in a role, hopefully those accomplishments help you understand that I can help you. And if you're still uncomfortable, reach out to me. We can figure it out. I'll talk to you. But that's why I'm not in a role. I had to address that. There's a big elephant in the room. I know a lot of people, like I said, it hasn't come to me personally. Nobody's ever been like, hey, you're not in a role. What's up? But I feel it in conversation. So I wanted to address the elephant in the room as we start season 4. And as I help you, the listener, I've been there. I've been about it, and I know what I'm talking about. So I want to help you. So that's that. Now, in helping you, as we go into this new phase of Beyond the Field. Like I said, this is the first episode of season 4 of the podcast. We're going to create more educational resources for you. So number 1, we're going to write more blogs. So look out for the blogs on Monday. We're going to write more blogs. Number 2, we have a question of the week on Wednesdays. Question of the week, player development questions. If you have questions, get your questions in now. And then number 3, we'll give a player development tip of the week. So I'll give you a tip. Here's a tip in the role. So, we got questions for those who want to get in the role and tips for those who are in the role and getting into the role. So once again, providing those educational resources for you, the listener, because I love this space and I really want this space to grow. And yeah, I'm excited about that. Now, some of you all may say, well, do you ever want to get back in player development? Do you like being on outside? I do like being on outside, but I do miss it. I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't miss it. I miss being around the guys. I miss working with staff. I miss, the university relationships you make, but I just miss the life impact, the daily opportunities where players are just walk in and they are themselves. They tell you about their highs, their lows. You get to see them grow on and off the field. I do miss it. And, hopefully it does show up later in life when I'm prepared to get back in that. Right now, those factors I mentioned are really, really strong. But eventually, I do want to get back into it. And definitely wouldn't mind an opportunity at the pro space. I think that'd be pretty incredible. I think I've seen pretty much everything I can see at the college level. So definitely would welcome opportunity in the future on the pro level. So yeah, that's that. But yeah, season 4 is here. Thank you so much for listening. Speaking of listening, I realized looking at analytics, about 75 to 85% of you all are not subscribed. So subscribe, just stop right there and hit the subscribe button. Or if you're listening, download the podcast, subscribe, whatever it may be, make that happen. And if you are looking to get into player development, you've heard about it, you like this episode, you see the credentials, I can help you. I have a player development guide course that still has spots available. It's about to start here soon on July 13th. But there's still spots available if you would like to join. The link is in the show notes. You'll fill out the information, set up a Calendly interview with me, and then we'll talk about the courses for you, and then we'll get started. And I want to help you get into the player development role. Season 4 is here, and we don't get to season 4 without you all. So thank you all for listening. Thank you all who came to Player Development Conference, attendees, panelists, and my team. Shout out to Evan, Ali, and Lauren. Thank y'all so much. And hey, once again, look out for the resources. The question of the week will be here. The tip of the week will be here. And check out these videos here for you all as we kind of recap season 3 as we walk into season 4. Excited to be here. You know the motto. Go out and create generational impact. Don't wait. Create that generational impact today.